The first time Ion saw her, she was standing near the back gate of the university library, clutching 3 old textbooks against her chest as if they were treasures someone might steal. Her clothes were simple, faded blue shalwar camis, carefully ironed but clearly worn many times. Her sandals looked repaired at least twice. She kept her head lowered, moving quickly, as though she didn't want the world to notice her. But the world noticed her that day. At least Ion did. He was leaning against his car, scrolling through his phone, half listening to his friends argue about some business idea. He came from money, everyone knew that. His father owned construction companies across the city, and Ion had grown up surrounded by comfort. Expensive watches, polished shoes, confidence that came from never having to worry about tomorrow. Yet something about the girl walking past him made him look up and forget the conversation. She paused near the gate, struggling with her bag's broken zipper. A few papers slipped out and scattered across the pavement. Before anyone else could react, Ion stepped forward and picked them up. She looked up at him then, and she smiled. It wasn't the kind of smile meant to impress. It was soft, shy, almost apologetic, as if she felt guilty for causing inconvenience. But it was real, warm, grateful. "Thank you," she said quietly. Her voice was gentle, and her eyes, deep brown and slightly nervous, held sincerity he rarely saw. In that moment, something shifted inside him. He had met countless girls, confident ones, stylish ones, girls who knew exactly how to hold his gaze and calculate his attention. But this girl wasn't performing. She wasn't trying. She was just herself. "It's okay," he replied, handing her the papers. "You should fix your bag, it's dangerous." A hint of amusement flickered across her face. "I will, when I can." He noticed the slight hesitation in her words. "When I can, not when I want to." "What's your name?" he asked. She adjusted her books nervously. "Hira." "I'm Ion." "I know," she said softly. Of course she did. Everyone did. She gave another small smile and walked away, leaving him standing there, oddly breathless. From that day on, Ion found reasons to pass by the library more often. Sometimes he'd see her sitting in the corner, scribbling notes intensely. Other times, she would be helping classmates understand difficult concepts. She spoke little, but when she did, people listened. He learned she was on scholarship, that she lived with her widowed mother in a small rented house far from campus, that she took evening tuition classes to support her studies. The more he learned, the more he admired her. But Hira avoided him. Not rudely, just carefully. Whenever he tried to sit near her, she would gather her books and leave. If he offered to drop her home, she politely refused. If he tried to start a conversation, she kept it brief. One afternoon, he finally stopped her near the campus garden. "Why do you run away from me?" he asked gently. Her fingers tightened around her bag strap. "I don't." "You do." She hesitated. "We're from different worlds, Ion." He frowned. So people like you don't understand people like me." He stepped closer, lowering his voice. "Then explain." Her eyes met his for a second before dropping again. "I can't afford distractions." "And I'm a distraction. You're everything I can't have." The words weren't bitter, they were honest. For a moment, he didn't know what to say. Then she looked up again, and that same shy smile appeared. "I should go," she murmured. And once again, she walked away, leaving his heart even more tangled than before. Rumors began circulating within weeks. "Why are you hanging around that scholarship girl?" one of Ion's friends asked casually. "She's smart," he replied. His friend laughed. "So are many others, but she's not your type." "What's my type?" "You know, stylish, confident, rich." Ion didn't answer. Because lately, none of that seemed important. One evening, as he was leaving campus, he saw Hira standing outside in the rain. She didn't have an umbrella. She was shielding her books with her dupatta, trying to keep them dry. Without thinking, he ran toward her and held his jacket over her head. "You'll ruin your notes," he said. "You'll ruin your jacket," she replied. "I can buy another jacket." She looked at him then, not smiling this time. "And I can't buy new books." The rain fell harder, but neither moved. He walked her to the bus stop despite her protests. They stood close, the scent of rain mixing with silence. "Hira," he said carefully, "why do you assume I care about money more than people?" "Because that's how the world works." "Not my world." She studied his face, searching for mockery. There was none. "You don't understand," she whispered. "If I let myself feel something and it breaks, I don't have the luxury to recover." Her honesty pierced him. "I won't break you," he said firmly. She gave a small, sad smile. "Everyone says that." The bus arrived. She stepped onto it without looking back. That night, Ayan couldn't sleep. He realized this wasn't just attraction. It wasn't curiosity. It was something deeper, something steady. The next day, he found her in the library again. "I'm not going to stop talking to you," he said quietly. She sighed. "Ayan, I don't care that you're poor." Her eyes flashed slightly. "I care." "Why?" "Because I've seen what happens when girls like me forget their place." The words stung him. "Your place," he said softly, "is wherever you choose to stand." For the first time, she didn't look away. Days turned into weeks. Slowly, she stopped running. They studied together, talked about dreams. He learned she wanted to become a teacher, to build a school for children who couldn't afford education. She learned he wanted to expand his father's business, but also create housing projects for low-income families. They argued about books, laughed over silly mistakes, shared tea from the same small roadside stall. And one evening, as the sun set behind the campus buildings, she smiled again, the same soft smile from the first day. But this time it wasn't shy. It was happy. And Ayan knew with certainty that he was in love. Love, however, is never simple. When Ayan's family found out about Hira, the reaction was immediate. "Who is she?" his mother asked sharply. "A classmate." "And her family?" "She lives with her mother." "What does her father do?" "He passed away." There was a heavy silence. His father leaned back in his chair. "Ayan, you'll marry someone from a respectable background." "She is respectable." "I mean financially." Ayan's jaw tightened. "So character doesn't matter." His father's tone hardened. "Don't be naive." For the first time in his life, Ayan disagreed openly with his family. Meanwhile, whispers reached Hira too. "She's trapping him. She's lucky. She'll ruin his future." Each word felt like a stone thrown at her fragile confidence. One evening, she asked him to meet her in the garden. "I can't do this," she said quietly. His heart dropped. "Why?" "Because your world will never accept me." "I don't care about my world." "But I do," she said, tears forming. "I don't want to be the reason you fight your family." He stepped closer. "You're not a reason, you're my choice." She shook her head. "You deserve someone equal." "You are equal." She laughed bitterly. "Ayan, I wear the same 3 outfits every week. And you look beautiful every day." Tears spilled down her cheeks. "Stop making it harder." He gently held her hands. "Hira, the first day I saw you, you were trying to fix a broken bag. You smiled like you were apologizing for existing. But that smile, it changed something in me. You're not less. You're not small. You're stronger than anyone I know." She looked at him, truly looked at him. "You don't see me as poor?" she asked softly. "I see you as brave, kind, intelligent, and the only person who makes my world feel real." Silence wrapped around them. Then slowly she smiled. Not shy this time, not apologetic. Confident. I'm still scared, she admitted. So am I, he replied. She took a deep breath. Okay. Okay, he repeated. Okay, we try. It wasn't dramatic. There were no grand gestures, just two people choosing each other despite fear. Months later, when Hira stood on stage to receive her Academic Excellence Award, Ayan watched from the crowd with pride shining in his eyes. She had earned everything on her own. And when she stepped down, searching for him in the audience, their eyes met. She smiled, and just like the first day, he fell for her all over again. Because she had been poor, she had been shy. But her smile had always been richer than anything money could buy.